Hello and welcome to the Night Feed. I'm your host, Charlotte, here to bring you some company during, let's face it, one of the toughest parts of being a new parent, the Night Feed. Tonight's unpaid sponsor is standing on a Sylvanian family kitchen cabinet at 2 a.m. We've all stood on Lego. We've all stood on a plug. But a Sylvanian family kitchen cabinet placed upright with the cupboards open is a new level of pain, especially when you're not expecting it. I was up rocking the baby and I was pacing the floor, and out of nowhere I felt this horrendous pain in my foot, and it was one of their little pink cabinets from their lovely little Sylvanian family home, and it was a little pink kitchen cabinet that, like I said, was faced upright. Oh my Lord, that pain. The pain when you're not expecting it and when you can't let out a huge scream because it's 2 a.m. and you're trying to rock the baby is another level of pain. Yeah. How's your evenings going? I hope you're all well if you're listening to this at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or on a pram walk. I hope you're doing well. I've had some new listeners this week and I'd like to just say hello, reintroduce myself. So I am Charlotte. I live in Manchester in the UK and I have a 4, almost 5-year-old, a 3-year-old and a 7.5-month-old. So we're well and truly in the 3 under 5 days at the moment. And it's chaos, but it's beautiful chaos. And some days are harder than others. Some nights are harder than others. Some nights there's 5 in the bed. But we get through it. And this podcast is here for you guys up in the middle of the night when you feel like you're the only person awake and you're the only person whose baby's been up for 3 hours straight. I'm here to let you know that you're not alone, and we all have those nights where we think we're never going to sleep again. But we do. And the babies grow. Like my 7.5-month-old, he's already becoming like a toddler in a way. It's so crazy how that newborn phase just passes before your eyes. So yeah, it's chaotic, but it's great. And my 3 and 4-year-old this morning were super lively, whilst I was super tired, which is not the best combination at times. But my eldest, who's almost 5, was bringing this big basket of toys down. Unicorns, dolls, everything. And it was the basket of toys that I actually took upstairs yesterday. And you feel like you're chasing your tail a bit as a mum. And she's there like, I'm bringing these down. I'm like, oh, but they belong up here. And I tidy them up. And Jason's like, oh, just let her bring them down. It's okay. She just wants to play. And I came back from the school run after I dropped them. And all these little teddies and dolls and unicorns were sat upright on the couch, all in a row. And I'm looking at them now, just smiling, because it's all she wanted to do was line her teddies up on the couch and sit with them before she went to school. And there I am saying, oh, it's going to cause more mess. And it's like, oh, gosh, just check yourself sometimes, like it's not the end of the world if she brings teddies down. These days just go so quick. And it's just a reminder to you, really, that as mums, I think sometimes we can be a bit uptight and we want everything to be just so. And when you've got babies, things aren't going to be just so. There's going to be chaos. There's going to be mess. If you come down in the morning, the kitchen's spotless, it's a bonus, isn't it? It's like, don't beat yourself up. Enjoy the chaos. It's a wild ride. And I think you either have to jump on or get frustrated. And I'm today deciding to just jump onto the chaos wave and ride it. Oh gosh, I have a recommendation for you actually, talking about chaos. If you have toddlers, because I know a lot of my listeners have babies and toddlers, or if you are just a newborn mum thinking about what your child is going to be like as they pass through the terrible twos and 3 to 4 year old emotions, I bought a book at Christmas. Well, Father Christmas brought it, called The Colour Monster. And I got it because my 4-year-old is going through that phase at the moment where emotions are very, very big, really big emotions. Like, she can see red sometimes. And I've been reading a lot about it lately, about how you navigate that, how you don't rise to it, how you treat it. Because I think generations ago, it would have been stop, shut up, go and sit in the corner. But obviously we don't do that now. We know a lot more about how to navigate emotions. And this book's brilliant because it talks about how the red monster's angry, the yellow monster's happy, the green monster's calm, and the blue monster's sad. And it goes through all the emotions. And they actually use colour monsters at school, so she's obviously well acquainted with this kind of thing. And the other day, she had a bit of a meltdown. She was really angry over something. And as a complete distraction tool, I went, hey, let's get the Colour Monster book. And I just completely broke her focus, because then she was like, oh, what's the Colour Monster? But she kind of forgot. I said, it came from Father Christmas. And then she's like, oh, and it distracted. I think distraction is key when they're having a meltdown. I think it's such an important thing. Distract. So that already made her forget why she was really angry. And we went, my eldest and I, and sat, and we read this book for about 10 minutes together. Because I do find that when you're a mum of 3, carving out moments to be with them individually is really important as well. So I went and sat with her, and I said, look, there's red. That's what you're feeling right now, isn't it? And we went through all the different colours. We talked about what made her red, what made her yellow, what made her happy, sad. And then at the end, she said, I'm feeling yellow now. I'm feeling really happy. And it was a lovely transition to see that play out. Because you hear a lot online from psychologists and all these people that say how you should handle behaviour, and to see her regulate her emotions like that with a book was really great. It's called The Colour Monster. What's it? Who's the author? I'll have to find it, and I'll put in the show notes the title and the author so you can find it. But yeah, and it was quite funny because the next day I was quite snappy in the morning. I was a bit angry because I was tired. And that evening, she came to me, my eldest, and said to me, how do you feel about being angry this morning, Mummy? I was like, it just took me aback. I said, well, I don't like getting angry, but sometimes when I'm tired, I do get angry, and I'm sorry for being a bit snappy. And she said, maybe you needed the Colour Monster book. I was like, wow, that is seeing it play out in real time. And I would say, we all talk about the terrible twos. I think 3 and 4 is a harder age in terms of emotions, because it's like they're more emotionally developed and they're feeling more emotions, but they don't know how to control them. Whereas a 2-year-old, I think, is less emotionally developed and will throw a fit because they want jelly on their baked beans, which is never going to happen. So it's kind of like, well, let's let that play out. But with a 3 and 4-year-old, they're much more advanced with how they think and when they want things and what they want to do. And I'll give you an example. I watched a video about kids having tantrums and how you shouldn't give in. So it's basically saying, if you're in the supermarket, they want the sugary cereal and you give in, that builds a behaviour in them. They'll go, oh, what I need to do is I need to throw myself on the floor and I'll get the sugary cereal. So I went shopping the other day to Asda with my 3-year-old and my baby. I had the baby in the sling. And usually what I do is I lock her into the trolley. So I'm like, let's go in the trolley. This is really fun. And she puts the pound in and she sits in the trolley. And I make it like a fun adventure because I need her locked in. Because otherwise, she's great at first, but she's a lovely little helper, my middle child. She loves to be involved, which I absolutely love. But in the supermarket, it can get a bit chaotic. But anyway, this day I decided we'll let you walk. I said, you hold Mummy's hand. I just wanted to pick a few clothes up. So I wasn't going for a big shop. And to my UK listeners, you'll know in Asda, they have a section where the clothes are called George. And at the end of each aisle in the clothes section where the kids' stuff is like this emporium of paraphernalia that children of a certain age just love. I'm talking bows, necklaces, beads, pink things, yellow things, all beautiful accessories that a 3 and a 4 and a 5-year-old will just want. So I'm looking at the clothes, and my 3-year-old is looking obviously at all the 3-year-old jewellery. And she's like, oh, I like this, I like this. And I'm saying, well, you can have a look, but we're not going to get any. Oh, but Mummy, I like this. And they're going to be like that. The 3, it's like a magpie with jewels, isn't it? They're going to go to them. So I think I was wrong in what I did here, but I said to her, okay, you can hold that while we have a look at the clothes. And I let her hold things. And in that action of her holding them, she's getting attached to them, isn't she? So she's holding a few bows, a few hair clips, and this necklace with a heart on it. So I got the clothes I needed, and I said, right, let's go and pay now. We're going to have to put those back. And oh my Lord. At first she was really like, no, I would just like this. And she was being very diplomatic about it. Oh, I'll just have this one, then I'll put these back and I'll just have this one. I'm thinking, right. But no, because I wasn't being mean. I was just saying that we weren't getting the £5 necklace that actually looked like it was probably worth £1 that was going to break. And it had this little heart on it that, and it's just tapped. And I thought, I'm not spending £5 on that because I'll have to go with your sister as well. And I thought, no, I'm going to put my foot down here because it's been Christmas. They've had tons of toys and they need to know we can't just walk into a shop and get anything. And I put my foot down. And it went out of control, this tantrum a bit. She was on the floor. I want it. And I could see people looking, and the easy route would have been, oh, okay, I'll get you that. But instead, I said no. I said, look, you can get angry, but my answer's not going to change. We're not going to get it. And it was tough, guys. It was tough. I mean, we were still in meltdown mode at the tills, and people were looking. There was 2 couples in the children's clothes area, and you could tell they looked like they were pregnant with the first, and they were looking at all the baby clothes, and you could see them all in this lovely joyous moment. And there's my 3-year-old screaming her eyes out, like, yeah. But yeah, we staying firm. And honestly, by the time we got in the car, she'd forgotten all about it because we were going to my mum and dad's that night. They were having a sleepover, which is like a holiday to them. They love it. And distraction is the key. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you because if you are a newborn mum, which a lot of you are, you'll have all this to come. And I'm not saying to scare you or worry you. I'm saying using things like the Colour Monster books and realizing that they're gonna have these massive meltdowns and it's completely normal is good to know, because if we all just give in and give in and give in because it's easier and because it stops people looking at us, then we're raising children that think they can walk into a shop and just pick anything up and have it. And you've got to persevere because a lot of parenting is tough. A lot of it is putting your foot down and standing your ground when you don't want to, when you want to go, oh, of course you can have the £5 necklace, whatever. Sorry if that was a bit long-winded, but I just thought I'd share that with you because seeing it all play out in real time, I think sometimes when you're in that age with them, it can feel like tricky to navigate with all these emotions, and they're pushing the boundaries because that's how they learn. But I think you just have to stand your ground and know what's right and what's wrong. And that helps so much. But yeah, on that note, I'm going to move on to the emails. And I've had one come in tonight about weaning, which I'm also going through at the moment. So it says, "Hi, Charlotte. I was hoping you or other listeners always feel free to email in, remember, the nightviewpodcast@gmail.com. If you do hear an email that you think, oh, I'm going through that right now, I can share something, drop me an email. I love to hear from you, and it helps to the listeners too." So it says, "I was hoping you might be able to help me with something I'm starting to think about. My baby's approaching the age where everyone keeps asking if we've started weaning yet, and I already feel overwhelmed. There's purees, baby-led weaning, schedules, allergen rules, Instagram meals that look better than what I eat myself. It feels like another area of motherhood where there's a right way, and I'm scared of getting it wrong. How did you approach weaning with your baby? Did you follow the guidelines closely or trust your instincts more? And how did you cope with the pressure and noise around it all?" Okay, you know my opinions on pressure and noise are blank them out unless it's something that really needs to be said. I think as a mother, you know your gut, you know what's right and what's wrong. And I think with weaning, it's another area where a lot of people are trying to share their 2 cents. And I think you can get overwhelmed very easily. I personally went with my mum's advice. My mum didn't know about baby-led weaning or anything, or purees or all this. I just kind of went with mash a banana, start there, give the baby banana, get some baby rice in, mix that with a bit of, I've been mixing baby rice with a bit of cool boiled water or a little bit of milk. Give them that. Sweet potato, avocado. I'm very much try and give them something that you're eating at the moment. So if I have eggs and avocado for lunch, I'll mash avocado for him. If we have sweet potato and chili for tea, I'll give him sweet potato. If we're having a meal that is not baby friendly, I get the baby rice out. I'm very pragmatic about it. I try to give him more savoury things, so like mashed broccoli, mashed avocado, carrot, because I've read that if you go too hard on the sweet fruit purees, like apple and pear and strawberry, it gives them that taste of sugar that they kind of will turn their nose up to broccoli then. So I try and keep it as bland as I can, really, to begin with. Baby-led weaning, which I still am confused by baby-led weaning. It's not something I've really done. And I think it's where you give them 3 options, isn't it? And let them kind of choose. My view with that has always been, I'll do the choosing and I'll feed you the food. And if you don't eat it, then we get something else, or it's okay, because before they turn 1, I think the food is supplementary to the milk, isn't it? They need it. They need a little bit more nutrition. They need filling up a little bit more, but it's not like they've got to have a 3-course meal at every meal every day. So I'm quite relaxed with it. And we all eat around the table as a family. We really make a point of that every day. And we've always been very much, you'll eat what we eat. So there's not much room for fussiness. Obviously it happens. Obviously there's times when they don't like something, and that's completely fine. But that's kind of where I've started with the baby-led weaning and with the baby weaning, is I make the decisions on the food. Because if I was to present my son with bananas, broccoli and avocado, he'll eat the banana fine, and he'll probably turn his nose up at the broccoli and avocado on that plate. Whereas if I just give him avocado, he's like, right, this is what we're eating, and he'll eat because he's hungry. So that's kind of my opinion on it. I very much lead the weaning. I make sure it's balanced. I make sure he's getting different types of food. And he hasn't got any teeth yet. He's nearly 8 months and he's teething, but he hasn't got any teeth yet. So it kind of rules out things like baby pancakes and, more solid food for me at the moment. I am trying to give them give him more lumpy food, because apparently that helps with their chewing and ability to process food. You're not meant to just give them purees apparently all the time, because they don't get used to how they chew and how they swallow bigger food. But yeah, that's my opinion, is go with what you think, as long as it's balanced and healthy. I know it can be daunting when you're feeding them. I still get daunted by it 3 babies in, when I'm feeding him something that's a bit lumpy. You know, you're watching them like a hawk, aren't you? Like, oh, chew. But they do. It's like a natural instinct, isn't it? Even though he only has gums, he still chews. So yeah, I hope that helps. I'm not anti-baby-led weaning, but I'm not into all that. I'm into just, you do what you think is right to feed him. You give him the balance, or give her the balance that you know is right. And don't get bogged down by these Instagram meals. Some of them are really helpful. I found a couple that work, but there's so much noise, like you say. And if your baby's plate doesn't look like a Michelin star plate that's been perfectly positioned with completely homemade biscuits and tater tots and all these different things, don't feel bad. Mine he gets a mashed avocado, he gets mashed carrot, mashed broccoli. I'm very kind of basic but balanced, I would say, with the weaning. And then they get onto your meals then, and they can start eating what you eat when they've got their teeth and they're happy to eat different things. But I hope that helps. I had a nutritionist on. She's a oh gosh, it was like over a year ago now. If you skip back, she was really interesting. I'll put her episode in the notes, because she gave some really good insight on raising kind of non-fussy eaters and how navigating weaning helps with that, the way you wean. So I'll drop her episode in the show notes and you can have a listen. But I hope that helps. Next email is about naps. And it says, "Hi Charlotte, I have a quick question I was hoping you might cover. I have a newborn and all naps are currently contact naps. I hear you, sister. The second I put her down, her eyes open. I keep wondering if I should be working on it, or if this is just normal and something I should lean into for now. Do you ever worry about creating habits too early, or did you just follow what your baby needed in those early weeks? Love your thoughts, and to hear from other mums listening too. Thank you." Lean in is my opinion. It depends how well you have a newborn. All my newborn naps pretty much were contact. My second went down a bit easier. So my second baby, I could feed her on the boob and then put her in her little cushion that I had downstairs, and she would sleep in that fine. I'd get like an hour at a time sometimes. My third baby though, in fact, it's just hitting me now. Both my girls would nap on their pillows and I'd go and get stuff done. With my third, he's a serial contact napper. I tried putting him in his pram yesterday. So what I did was I fed him and I put him in his pram in the kitchen. And then he woke as soon as I put him in his pram. He's 8 months now nearly, bearing in mind. So I put my boob in his mouth to feed him while I slightly rocked the pram, got him back to sleep again, and I got 20 minutes. 20 minutes where I dashed around and did stuff. And then when he woke, I quickly sat down on the sofa with him and fed him again. He went back off. So he had his hour and a half nap, only 20 minutes in the pram. And I'm getting to the stage now with him where I'm like, I do need to start getting him in his nap routine. Because as much as I love the contact naps, I need to do stuff as well. And I think being able to lie them down for a little bit really, really helps. But if you have a newborn, I'd lean into the contact naps. That's what my advice was early on, and that's what I did. I just lent into the fact that he only wants to nap on me, and if I really want a break and a rest, he's going to have to nap on me. And that's the problem, isn't it? Is if you decide to put them down, you might only get 10 minutes, you might only get 2 minutes, you might get an hour. It's luck of the draw. I've had a few occasions where my son, my third baby, has napped for an hour and a half on his cushion. And it's very, very rare because, like I said, he's a contact napper. But I'm torn with what advice to give here, because when my son was a bit younger, I was always about, contact nap, contact nap, contact nap. Enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it, which I did. And when you have a newborn and you've been up through the night, I believe the contact nap is there to help you rest. Because if you put them down and go rushing round like a madwoman trying to clean your house, then the baby will wake, you'll have no energy for the baby. So I'm very much of the mindset that when the baby naps, you can nap, or no, we don't nap, do we? So let's sleep when the baby sleeps. It doesn't always happen, but you can at least put your feet up for a minute. You can have a coffee, you can recalibrate, and then when the baby wakes, you've got the energy to be there. So my advice is, like I said, let them nap on you when the babies, if you want to. But at this age now, when my son's about to turn 8 months, I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, right, I need to start getting him used to napping in his cot or his cushion or his pram, so that I can shower, clean, do what I need to. I'm getting a bit more sleep now at night, so I'm feeling better every day. It's not like I'm a zombie anymore in those first few weeks where you're like, you need to rest. But yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it? It's a tricky one. And every baby's different. Remember that. If your friend has a baby that just lies on the pillow and falls asleep, don't think you're doing anything wrong, because all babies are different, completely different. Like my 3 are different and they've been raised exactly the same. So yeah, I don't really know what to advise, but if you are wanting to get some time to yourself independently of the baby, then it may be good to start working on getting the cot set up ready, the room darkened so that you can put them down for a nap, and see how that goes. And it does get them into a good routine. We always were quite good with routine with my first, and she's a great sleeper, touch wood. So yeah, I hope that helps. And if anyone has any insight on that, anyone has any tips, if you're listening to an email now and you're thinking, I've been through that, drop me an email, thenightfoodpodcast@gmail.com, and I will read them out to the previous people who've emailed in. That will really help. Next tonight is a post I found in a forum, and I just thought you might enjoy it. So it says, what's the number one propaganda you fell for as a new mum? We've all been there. We've all fell for things. I'm sure I can think of about 10 things off the top of my head I fell for, but here's a few that people wrote. First one, that certain things don't work for everyone. I learnt the hard and fast way that you have to find your own way as a parent. 100%. And this is the thing that I think, again, social media falls short on, is that it gives you these opinions and you think, well, my baby doesn't do that. What am I doing wrong? Every baby's different. The next one says that you don't truly know how deeply society and systems do not support mothers until you become one. I've been shocked at how unstroller friendly so many places are. Shops, restaurants, etc. I feel like a bull in a china shop 90% of the time trying to weave through the aisles. And then someone's put, this was me yesterday. I was picking up a coffee at a little cafe with the baby in a stroller, and the tables were so close to one another. A nearby woman needed to move past me, so I made space for her kindly because I wasn't trying to impede the flow of the people. And she still gave me a look like I shouldn't be there at all. It's just crap, isn't it? And then someone's put this. Becoming a mother truly rocked me. I had no idea. During pregnancy, I remember telling my mother-in-law how shocked I was at pregnancy and how no one talks about it, how difficult it is. She said, as a boomer, she said, well, if we told you how hard it was, you wouldn't do it. I was like, damn, honestly, I think she's got a point. It's true, isn't it? I do think that a little bit. I have a double pram, and people sometimes look at me like, you're coming in here with that. It's like, it's the right size to go through a single door. It will fit. It looks like it won't fit, but it will fit. If you'll kindly hold that door open for me, I can push my pram in and everyone will be fine. And then you get other people that are really accommodating. You go into some places and they open the door for you and they help you get the pram in. But it's true, you don't fully realise how the world is not set up for mums and prams. And there's a few roads near where I live where people park on the pavement, and I have to walk in the road with a double pram because I can't get past the cars. And it's infuriating, but it's kind of like one of those truths that you just kind of have to navigate. But it is a point, isn't it? There are so many elements of modern day society that aren't quite set up for new parents. Next one says, maybe not propaganda, but all the cute baby outfits. My son has been living in two-way zipper PJs since he was born 2 months ago. It's just easier. Absolutely. There are so many cute outfits I have for our baby boy upstairs. Oh, gorgeous little outfits that he's either worn once or hasn't worn. And I came across a few the other day that were 3 to 6 months, and he's too big now. And I'm gutted because they're gorgeous little outfits that I've not had a picture of him in. And he's the same. He's in a baby grow now. Zipper baby grows are the way forward, guys. Yeah, baby clothes. It's just not happening, is it? And then someone's put that baby sleep can be fixed with the right swaddle, sound machine, sleep consultant, etc. And it's like 97% of their temperament. I wish I could talk to fourth trimester me and tell her it's all normal, hard but normal. So if anybody's listening now who's pregnant, because I know I do have some listeners who are pregnant, remember that one, because sleep is the one that will make you feel like you're failing and you're not. Like this person said, it's 97% temperament. I have 3 babies, all different sleep temperaments. You'll be told on Instagram that you can solve this, that you can create a sleep routine that will change your life. And maybe you can. Maybe some people try these sleep routines and it works. But for other people, it doesn't. And it's not anything you are doing wrong. So just remember that. Next one says, drowsy but awake is a scam. Feeding to sleep is magic and you can't convince me otherwise. And finally, anything that snaps instead of zips, no. Again, if you're pregnant listening to this, go for the zipper sleep suits, not the popper sleep suits. Next tonight is what's trending. And tonight I thought I'd talk a little bit about analog motherhood. You may have come across this, you may not have come across this, but it's basically analog, living an analog lifestyle. And what that means is putting your bloody phone down and doing something else. Whether that's reading a book, whether it's learning to crochet, whether it's learning a language, whether it's going for a walk, doing yoga, Pilates, cooking, baking, anything that isn't being on your phone. And it's come from the analog movement where people are buying old TVs and DVD players for the kids and just getting them 10 DVDs, cancelling all the subscriptions and living a more analog lifestyle. Because I think it is affecting our brains the way we live. If you're anything like me, we've got several subscription services. So when it comes to watching TV of a night, my kids can watch anything, like any Disney movie, anything that's on Netflix. And that to me as a kid would have been like a gold mine. You know, you used to have to wait for things to come on, didn't you? Or if you were lucky enough to have the DVD, you could put it on. But it's teaching them abundance, isn't it? And it's teaching them that, okay, we'll get halfway through Sleeping Beauty, we'll put Aladdin on instead. And it's like, well, that's not great. So many parents are turning towards getting their children DVD players or TVs with a built-in video player. I saw someone with a VHS player, can you believe? and just living a slower life and not being affected by things you see online. I am all for analog. I really am. And I'm telling myself so much to do something about this, whether it's a movement or an app or an app. There you go. There's the first fault in that. We're so driven to be digital, aren't we? That it's everywhere. I would love to help mums come away from social media, come away from everything being bloody digital, and just live a slower, more content, less noisy lifestyle. Because I also saw a really harmful thing the other day about being on your phone as a parent in front of your kids, which I'm sure most of us are guilty of. And again, I think that's something we really need to address. So search it, analog motherhood. There's loads of videos on it. There's people that have analog bags, they call them. They don't have screens in them. They just have loads of different things for their kids and for them to entertain themselves, because boredom is good. We're so transfixed on picking up our phone when we're bored that it's doing things to us. So there you go. Next night is my self-care tip, and it is to have a clear out. I did it yesterday. I targeted a room and I purged it. And oh my God, seeing the bin bags leave the house and the bags for the charity shop is so mind clearing and so fulfilling, because you will keep stuff that you don't need. It is a matter of life. And I think if you can be minimalist, I was talking to my friend about minimalism and how much it clears your mind. And I think when you've had Christmas and you've had an influx of toys and clothes and things, it can feel a bit overwhelming. It can feel like we don't actually have space to put these things. And if you're in that boat, get your things to the charity shop, because I can guarantee there are toys that your children have not looked at, that your babies will not look at, your baby clothes that they're growing out of, unless you're planning to have more. Think about all the things like that and just try and be a bit brutal with it, because I wouldn't call myself a hoarder. I'm not a hoarder, but I will cling on to things that I have an emotional attachment to. Even if it's a toy that someone bought for my daughters when they were like 1, I'm like, they might like it. And it's like, they won't. It's bright pink. It's for 1-year-olds and they don't like it anymore. The baby boy isn't going to really enjoy it. Get rid. So yeah, I think we should all be a bit more cutthroat on the drive to be a bit more minimalist. Finally, to finish on a quote I wrote. I watched you last night, slumped in that old chair at 3 a.m, holding the baby like your arms were made just for them. Your head nodded forward for a second, exhaustion winning for just a breath, but you never let go. Your body is sore, your eyes barely stay open. Your skin is marked with stories no one else will truly understand. But you were there, still, rocking, humming, loving. I wanted to take the tide away. I wanted to scoop both of you up and press rewind to a time when you slept more than you cried. But then I saw something that stopped me cold. You looked down at our baby with the kind of love I don't think I'll ever be able to explain. Even though the fog of sleep deprivation and pain, through that all, you smiled. That quiet smile that said, I would do this 1,000 times for you. And I knew right then, you're the strongest person I've ever known. You're doing something extraordinary in the most ordinary moments. They won't remember these nights, but I will. I'll remember how you gave them your whole self before they ever even asked. How you never once complained, even when your world turned upside down. And I just need you to know, you're not invisible to me. I see you. I love you. And I've never been prouder to share this life with you. From your person. Thanks for listening, as always. Please keep the emails coming in to thenightviewpodcast@gmail.com. And if you're enjoying the podcast, share it with another mum. That would help me so much. And drop me a review wherever you listen. I hope you all have a restful, relaxing, sleep-filled night ahead. Good night.